Peace and more peace coming to you live from North Las Vegas, Nevada. My name is Anthony Calori, and this is the Appreciate You podcast. I thank you for being here. I thank you for being you, and it's good to be back. We was on a nice little run there, doing a episode about every other day, and so it feels good to have lived a little bit of life and worked some things out. I was getting uh, pretty discouraged and frustrated over the last few days, not with this particular venture, but just kind of my day to day life, going to work, going to sleep, going to work, going to sleep, and really just having a struggle within myself with what I should do. And, am I on an island with how I'm feeling, and is it okay to talk to my lady about how I'm feeling? Am I, as a man, am I being weak, and stuff like that? As men, it feels like we don't have the right to express how we feel because it's going to come off as complaining, and it's going to come off as being weak. And I find that when I do that, I end up just kind of eventually just overflowing or exploding with anger and discouragement, and just end up getting kind of depressed and feeling like there's no way out of my situation. And mostly that situation is just a feeling. A lot of things are how you look at it, and it could really mess you up when you don't have anybody to talk to, or you feel like you don't have permission to be vulnerable. And I guess you got to give yourself that permission, but it's really important to talk to somebody about how you're feeling, especially if you're going through a hard time and you're feeling stuck or something like that. So I had to take a few days to get myself right, and yeah, so I'm feeling much better. Um, Me and my fiance locked in a wedding venue for next year. Very grateful and excited about that. We went and did that yesterday. And the last couple of nights, I've just been practicing my ass off, and that's all I want to do: practice, play, express myself, learn, and just get better as a person. So I've been being a little bit more disciplined with my time and doing that. And I'm just happy to be where I'm at today. It's not easy getting through those struggles. That stress, that stress is what's going to kill us. Not allowing ourselves to express how we're truly feeling and just keeping it all inside. And so I'm glad I got to have a conversation with my lady. And she's one of the only people that I really get to talk to on a day-to-day basis. And yeah, just so grateful for her. So grateful for her. I went to the mosque yesterday, did the Juma with the community, and that felt amazing. I hadn't been going as consistently as I would like, and it felt great. It felt really great. And sometimes I convince myself that, oh, it's okay, I'll pray at home, or whatever. I need some sleep or something like that. But I always feel so much better after I go. The message is always great. And just being amongst your community, shoulder to shoulder with your brothers, is awesome. And it always brings a smile to my face to see children in there too, young, uh, young brothers and sisters, ranging from a toddler's age to, third, fourth grade or something like that. And it's just great, and when there's babies in there, they're always like smiling and running around and just having a good time while we all give thanks and praise to God. And I'm just very grateful. I'm so lucky that I have a mosque that's 5 minutes from me. just a 5 minute drive, and just felt so blessed. And when we moved into this place about 3 years ago now, um, it felt right to begin with. We loved our home, and the neighborhood was nice, and then to know that there was a mosque right down the street and everything else we need within arm's length, or a very um, reasonable driving distance. It just all makes sense, and I'm just very, very grateful. Um, and in the sermon yesterday, they're just talking about giving people grace and mercy for being in a different part of the journey than you. Some of us are ahead of others in our journey or on the path, and some of us are a little bit behind. And that's okay. We all have to show each other mercy and grace and be understanding and not worry so much about where other people are. Focus on yourself, lead by example, pave the way, make it easier for them to get to where you're trying to go, and focus on um, your relationship with God, and and also have faith that all of God's rewards and blessings are already placed upon the path that is ahead of you, and be grateful for the blessings that you've received and collected along the way, to get you to where you are now. And if you haven't felt very blessed, or if you've been feeling discouraged as of late, just know that if you keep going upon that path, that as it was written, those blessings are waiting for you as well. And so sometimes you get a bunch of small blessings um, in shorter distances. You pick something up in a quarter mile, pick something up in another quarter mile, half mile. But sometimes you have to walk or run the path for 5, 10, 20 miles before you see what it is that God has planned for you. And and so it was just exactly what I needed. And just very grateful for the brothers in there, and for um, our brother leading the prayer. So I feel back. I got work tonight, and I'm going to go in with a good attitude. I'm going to be grateful for what it allows me to do, and and um, and I'm also going to continue to work on the things that I need to work on outside of my job, so that I may humbly and gratefully transition into um, other ventures and the career that I'm investing a lot of time and energy into. So, um, as far as the podcast goes, I think the last time I did an episode, we had 140 subscribers, and now we're at, I believe, 210 or 211, and we're on the road to 500. Of course, we would love to have it get to as great as possible, God willing. We would like, and we would like to see as big of an audience as possible, so we can continue to do great things in our community, locally, regionally, nationwide, and God willing, worldwide. So I'm grateful for everybody who's tuning in. It really is, humbling and feels very special to me. Just these early stages of the podcast, and we've yet to have a guest, but we will soon, and we'll have a few. And I look forward to talking to a few brothers and sisters of mine who are creative people, who have a great spirit, and are just doing good things for themselves, their families, their communities, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great, as it and so it is. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. I've been Yeah, like I said, it hasn't been easy, but life isn't easy and it isn't fair, but it is good. And so today is a good day, and I'm just so grateful, just so grateful. Um, I want to share some for the musicians out there, for the pianists out there, or aspiring keyboardists, piano players. I'll be sharing some materials with you guys soon. Some basic things that helped me get started when I began my journey in being a musician. Just some basic things, chord theory and how to read basic, um, how to read, music, sheet music on a basic level, and yeah, and so I'll be putting together a PDF pretty soon for you guys to help you get started or take a couple steps closer to where it is you're going in your musicianship and your journey in music. And so I hope it'll be helpful and it'll be, I think, everything that you'll need to get you started. And remember that information is not can't do the work for you. I was talking to my friend the other day, and we are talking about how we all make a lot of plans. And I got notebooks on notebooks on notebooks full of plans and ideas, but unless I put in any action behind it, none of them ever came true. And so it's cool to kind of stroke my imagination or my ego and oh, look at all these great ideas that I have. But the real work comes with doing it, putting in the work, practicing, creating, and materializing these ideas. So I encourage everyone to not get caught up in too much information. It's real basic things. Like in sports, the fundamentals will take you really far. And if you get yourself in great shape physically, you can transcend those fundamentals. And that's essentially the same idea in music, where you can take extremely fundamental things and make leaps and bounds in progress, and in no time be able to be a professional musician. And so, um, if you're just starting out in music and you're a complete beginner, I think it's a very realistic goal if you're putting in the right amount of hours every day to be a professional musician in a short amount of time. So, if you're 30 years old and you're just getting into it, let's say you're training for the Olympics, and the Olympics is every 4 years. Well, your Olympics starts from when you start to the 4 year mark. And 4 years is plenty of time to put in hours of practice every day and uh, and become a professional musician, at a very fundamental and um, a very good level. So don't be discouraged. And for some people, it might even be shorter time depending on um, how much time you have. I know not everyone who's 30 years old has, and most people who are 30 years old don't have 6 hours a day to be practicing. And so if you just want to play music, um, you can learn how to play a song in probably a month or two. Your favorite song, you can learn how to play it in a very, very short amount of time. And though it might be the only thing you know how to play and you might not understand it completely, who cares? It's not about that. Music is a wonderful, uh, it's a wonderful way to express yourself and to share some beauty with other people. And so, fuck it, do it. Have some fun, learn something new, push yourself, challenge yourself. And it is a language within itself. And so, like writing a piece, if you don't speak French, it's like learning how to write a piece of poetry in French and sharing it with people and just doing it because you love French and you love poetry and it's pretty and beautiful, and just do it because it's fun. We can't be spending all our time on the internet just kind of bullshitting, watching life pass us by. So learn something new, have fun, learn a song, um, and find you some resources that'll uh, help learning this music and learning something new easier. There's a ton of information out there. Just don't get caught up on too much. Pick a couple things that you think are going to be helpful for you and stick to it. And give it a chance. Give it a month or two. If you don't like it, find some new information. But be honest with yourself about how much time and effort you're really putting into practice and actualizing the information that you're getting, because that's what's most important. So, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know what else is going on. Not much else. I'm seeing a lot of stuff that gets under my skin, is bothering the shit out of me. My lady was watching this show full of a bunch of people on OnlyFans. I guess I don't know what you would call them. I call them porn stars. I know people like to use OnlyFans as if it's like some kind of an influencer term. But essentially, they're a bunch of glorified porn stars. And I'm not knocking anybody who's in that industry, but um I don't think we need to be following around a bunch of porn stars while they're on the job. It's showing these people come up with funky ideas and just really, um, I mean, if I'm being completely honest, a bunch of really clown shit. These people, um, like, is this who we want our kids to be like? A bunch of extremely narcissistic, godless, dare I say, dumb people. And you don't have to be a genius to make money, and these are the type of people who will lose an argument and say, well, my net worth is $2 million, so na 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 na. And it really is just a sign of the times that this stuff gets glorified, and these people are considered celebrities or successful. You know, um, there's a lot more. There's a lot more women living in desperation, being pimped out or strung out on dope in the streets than there are women who find success in this so-called industry. And uh, and it really is. I mean, it was one of the most depressing shows I've ever seen in my life, where I was worried that young girls and even young men, young boys, would see these people and only because that they're making money would want to be like them or find a way out. Find a way out of poverty or a bad situation by selling their body in a sense, and really prostituting on camera. A lot of people like to say that um, shooting porn isn't prostitution, but it really is at the end of the day. You're just putting it on camera. And so, you're fucking for money. I mean, you're selling pussy at the end of the day, or whatever it is you're doing. That's prostitution. And so, um, I just really hope that we can find a way to discourage, or not even discourage, but kind of get in between this industry and the children and say, there's better ways to get it. There's a lot of people who are influencers or have a brand that make money like these people do, who don't take their clothes off or act um, act lesser than they actually are. You don't have to play dumb to get some money. You don't have to take your clothes off to get some money. You don't have to be a drunk and drugged out idiot to get some money. You don't have to pretend. You can be exactly who you are and be successful in life, and people will gravitate toward your authenticity and who you genuinely present yourself as. So, um, yeah, we got to find a way to make being humble, Not necessarily humble, but I don't know. But that shit just isn't cool. That shit is not cool, man. And so I don't know what's going on in the world or where we're going to go if that kind of behavior and industry takes over the dreams of the youth. I it's cool to want to play ball and all that type of stuff, have hoop dreams and shit, but when you got OnlyFans dreams, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. So, um, yeah, yeah. I know I'm just kind of going on about it, but it really is. It's whack. It's straight up whack. And what I see is that the youth are the ones who are being left behind in all this stuff. There's nobody thinking about having a family. There's no talk about building a family or raising your children or the possibility of getting pregnant during this stuff. And yeah, I'm not going to get into it too much because I don't want to have a one sided conversation. But at the end of the day, it's all about the kids, man. And we can't be selling our kids out to this kind of shit by not calling it out for being what it is. And what it is prostitution and a bunch of funky ass, dumb, low vibrational bullshit. Straight up bullshit, man. Nothing cool about it. It doesn't build families. It doesn't build communities. And you know, and fuck them. You gotta pick a side at some point. You gotta pick a side at some point. And so yeah, go ahead, do your thing, but stay the fuck away from me, away from my kids, and and you know, and that's really what it is, man. We don't build communities with this kind of behavior, and the same thing goes for hip hop. The and not even hip hop. I'll say pop music because hip hop is dead. But I'll say pop music nowadays. Encouraging being on. Just we just glorify killing people, being strung the fuck out. Um, in the words of Future, hit her with no condom, then I fly about the country. We don't raise our kids. We don't lead households. We're not good fathers to our kids. We're not good husbands to our wives. And the behavior of men nowadays is I understand why women nowadays are are being taught to be gold diggers and bag chasers. And I think it's more of a natural instinct on the on a woman's behalf, because if a man is not willing to lead the household, raise his children, be a good husband, provide safety and protection, he's not willing to sustain, um, you know, of course, a woman's going to see everybody as a check because there's not enough men being promoted or pushed to the forefront of culture nowadays, that are family oriented and marriage oriented. And and so I understand, if you're gonna just because sex is different between men and women. So if you're just gonna, hit it and quit it, and she gets pregnant, you better have some money because she's gonna come and get it anyway, But it's uh it's kind of her responsibility if she's gonna let you just hit it and run out to make sure that you got something because you're not willing to do anything else. So I think what's happening in the culture is sort of natural in a sense. It's unnatural in that we're pushing this kind of hyper individuality where we don't come together as a family unit. Um, you know, so you got men acting like little boys, and women don't have a choice but to raise the kid. You could give them up, but women most of the time they don't do that. They're gonna keep the kid, raise them, figure it out. But men are being encouraged nowadays to just dip out, hit it with no condom and fly about the country. So you can't really knock the broads for being a bunch of gold diggers because the men ain't shit. I mean, and I'm not saying men like in general, it's just what women are seeing in media and in music and in popular culture. Of course, we're not exactly behaving in a romantic fashion, you know? So, um, so yeah, I get it. I get it. And I don't knock them. I don't knock them. We as men, like I said, I'd never tell the men what to do, or excuse me, the women what to do. But as a man, I can encourage young men and men in general to get themselves together, focus on how you're going to provide for yourself, focus on how you're going to provide for a family, get you some exercise every day, every other day. Have something creative or leisurely that you like to do to keep your mind right, your mind healthy, to keep you socialized. Go out, have some fun every once in a while. Settle down with one woman. Don't have a bunch of kids running around all over the country, all over the city. Just try to do that. I understand that no, none of us are perfect, and what I'm asking isn't even a lot. It's very simple, and a lot of us just got to calm down. Put your dick away and figure out how to use this and how to use this, and how to use these, how to use these. So uh, don't get it twisted, man. These women are just responding to our level of leadership, and we ain't leading them to. We're not leading them to anything. What are we leading them to? The fucking the Blade, the OnlyFans, Instagram. I mean, where are our men leading these women? That's the question I would like us to answer, because that's what we do. We lead them. We lead the household. We lead the family, and our wives are, our confidants. They help us make decisions, but ultimately, at the end of the day, they're going to look at us to protect them, to provide for them, and to lead us into what is the rest of our lives, which is hopefully prosperous and peaceful. So that's what I would like to ask. Where are men leading our women? Where are our men leading our women? And yeah, it's not, we're not separate from each other. We work together. It takes two to make a baby, and everything else is like that. It takes two to raise a family. It takes two. So having a child together isn't the only thing that requires two people to create other beautiful things and great things. It takes work, and we gotta figure this out, man. We gotta figure out how to encourage the families again. So yeah, that's all I. I can go on, and I'll probably repeat myself 100 times, but I would love to see a shift in the culture, man. I would love to see a shift in the culture. And the last example I'll use for that is I seen Sexy Red wearing some booty shorts that said "Free my baby daddy." Now, at first, I was like, man, these women acting up, right? Like, this shit's crazy. But then I thought about it, and I was like, well, he shouldn't even need to be free. He should be free. Maybe on the booty shorts, it should say, I love my baby daddy, and he's not in prison or in jail, But free my baby daddy? Is it the woman's fault that she's wilding out, acting like that with no guidance, no man, no nothing, and she putting on them crazy ass shorts? Or is it the man's fault for putting himself in a position to be locked up and for her to just figure it out and wild out? You know, you got to be there to, like I already said it all, man, but we got to stop, stay alive and out of jail. That's my mantra for the rest of time to the young men. Stay alive and stay out of jail. You don't belong there. You don't belong in the ground. You don't belong in jail. So if you're alive and you're not in one of those two places, figure it the fuck out. How you gonna leave, man? Put yourself in position. And put your dick away. Nobody wants to see that. Figure it out. Get a job, have a career, start a business, work hard, side hustle, be around, and 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 that's it. That's it. Find some faith. Have some faith in your life. Have enough discipline to pray. You know? But anyway, that's all I got to say for today.